All right, guys, welcome to Scanning TV on YouTube once again. Yes, so today we are starting our new podcast on this channel, and maybe possibly going forward, we might create a new channel for this particular podcast. For now, let's name it the Black Star Podcast. Today, we are going to talk about the Black Stars team, especially the goalkeeping department. Yes, because if you look at any team across the globe, Charlie goalkeeping there, we know the joke about it. It is very, very key, very, very important going to the World Cup in USA, Mexico, and Canada. Let me ask first question. Which three goalkeepers do you think Otto Addo should name for the 2026 FIFA World Cup? Let me know it down there. Today, I've been joined with the one and only Bernardo. Yes, he's going to be my co-host on this particular podcast. So Bernardo, Charlie, welcome to Skelly TV.
Thank you.
Yeah, sharp, sharp, sharp. So guys, we will start from 2006. Bernardo, am I right?
Yeah,
When Ghana we started playing the World Cup
exactly.
in Germany. Then we will continue to South Africa. We will come to Brazil, where a lot of things happened. 2014 World Cup. Then 2018, then we were missing Yankobi.
Janko.
Then we come to 2026 in USA. 2022 rather, before we come to 2026. Yes. So, Bernardo, Charlie, take us through. Let's begin from here.
Okay.
Ghana Black Stars goalkeeping, 2006 World Cup. Take us through what happened before, during, and probably after the World Cup.
Okay. So Ghana has been at four different World Cups.
Okay.
We have been to the World Cup. Our maiden edition was 2006. We made it for the second continuous time. That is 2010 on the African soil. When we played at South Africa. Then 2014, one of the World Cups, we as Ghanaians don't want to really recall whatever happened, the incidents that went on
Exactly.
in that particular World Cup. And then we went to Russia 2022.
No,
That
is
is Qatar. Qatar
yeah.
22. So we missed out on the Russia 2018.
18,
Then rather we went to Qatar 2022.
Sure.
These are the World Cups that we have played, and then these are the World Cups that we have leave mark on the African continent and on the higher stages at the World Cup, the biggest mundial whenever football is concerned. Our maiden edition was 2006. After we have seen a lot of players coming through the ranks, the likes of Reverend Osei Kofi, Joseph Cow, the likes of the Abedi Pele's, the Tony Yeboahs. These crop of players couldn't qualify us to the World Cup. It took a certain Stephen Appiah, the likes of Muntari, the Michael Asians, Sami Ajays, the Olele Kingston, Larry Kingston, who played the qualified for us, and then we eventually qualified for that particular World Cup in Germany. And that is where the heroics of Ghana on the world stages really, really materialized, because on the African continents, we were already winners of the AFCON for four times.
4 times.
So when we talk about Ghana winning or Ghana playing at the highest stages, it took this crop of players who played all their heart out for Ghana to be at the World Cup. 2006 World Cup saw a lot of memories that still unfold within us. We saw how we played against the almighty Brazil. We played against the Czech Republic, the United States of America, and these are countries that give us a very tough time and then good memories so far as the World Cup is concerned. So at the World Cup, when we are talking about the goalkeepers, there's one thing that we just need to look at.
Okay.
In the 4 times that you have played at the World Cup, almost every time that you have been at the World Cup, there's a local goalkeeper who finds himself in the World Cup squad for the Black Stars of Ghana. So in 2006, we went to the World Cup with Richard Kingston, Sami Ajayi, who was very instrumental when we were playing in the qualifiers. And then George Owu, we saw his heroics those days with the Sekeni-based clubs, and then probably he moved to that is
Gold, right?
Ashanti Gold. So these are the goalkeepers that we saw their performance at the World Cup. When we were going to the World Cup, all of us as Ghanaians and all of us as football connoisseurs, we were just looking at the performance of Sami Ajayi at the goal at the qualifiers in goal pool for us. But the World Cup, Richard Kingston, if you look at his performance, the kind of games he played in 3 games that we played, and he kept a clean sheet. And then one of the games that there's one game that we as Ghanaians will never forget is the game against Czech Republic. The goal for Masamoja in the early minutes.
I think 2 minutes.
Exactly. The early minute of the game. I still have that video still popping into my head. And then
Hey, Asamoah 2 minutes into the game, no.
Baby Jet.
Charlie.
That was when he was at Samoajan, not the one we saw at Legon Cities prior to the retirement.
Oh, no. As I'm watching there, Charlie, I be 2006, 2010, yeah. Now he hit, wow.
Exactly. So we saw these goalkeepers played all their heart out at the World Cup 2006.
Okay.
And fast forward, Richard Olele Kingston was imposed. He played virtually almost every game at the World Cup in 2006 for us. Fast forward in 2010, that is where the crowning moment for our hard work so far as the World Cup is concerned. Because when we are talking about Ghana at the World Cup, 2006 will always remain our biggest highlight because of the kind of performance we put up when the 2010 World Cup.
2010 or 2006?
2010.
2010 will be our biggest.
Yes.
Yeah, no doubt about it, yeah.
Because the performance we put up in South Africa, at a point, the whole of the African continent was just behind us, pushing us, and then just making us see that indeed we are going to be that team to be in that World Cup. We went into that World Cup with yet again another set of goalkeepers. We went to the 2006 World Cup with Richard Kingston, and then he was the goalkeeper who really made
2010 World Cup.
2010 World Cup. And again, if you look at his performance for us, I think that was one of the World Cup that we as Ghanaians will never forget. Look at the performance he put up in the group stages. Look at the performance he put up even in the round of 16. Then eventually in the quarterfinals, it took Uruguay the penalty shootout for them to eliminate us from that particular tournament. There were a lot of things that unfolded. Some are very good, and the others we just don't want to talk about. One of the things that we did, and then it really didn't materialize for us, was adding the 2009 goalkeeper from the under 20
squad.
That is Daniel Eji. If you
Fantastic goalkeeper.
Yes, if you saw his performance at the World Cup and then even in the AFCON, the under 20 AFCON, which we won, and then at Egypt we also won in that particular World Cup. His performance and then the kind of games he played, we're expecting so much from Daniel Eji, but we couldn't see how his progress went. So Daniel Eji was also part of that goalkeeping squad. Then we had another goalkeeper, Stephen Ahulu. I think that time he was with Heart of Lions.
Yes.
And he was part of that particular team that we went to the World Cup. So then again, reaffirms my point that at every World Cup that we have been,
we have some locally based goalkeepers in there.
So we went to the World Cup 2006, our maiden edition. We had George Owu, and then we had Sami Eje, part of the squad. In 2010, we have Stephen Aholu. We had Daniel Lai. Mind you, he was with Liberty Professionals before he eventually moved out of the country, and then he explored his play. At that World Cup, we went into the group stages. We saw the number of games we played. We went into the the quarterfinal, the round of 16 and the quarterfinals. He played about 5 games, and we saw the performances of Richard Kingston. I think that his performance is one of those performances. It will be difficult for us to erase as Ghanaians. Look at the performance that he put up in our first game, in our second game, our third game. These are performances that shows that Ghana, we needed to have even qualified from the game against Uruguay. But due to unforeseen circumstances, which it is beyond exactly.
But I also think personally, if you look at the goal we considered against Uruguay, do you remember that goal?
Yes.
Was it Diego Forlan's free kick?
Diego Forlan.
He could have done something about it.
One of the things I've always have problems with is when it comes to set pieces. You can be a very good goalkeeper, but the one taking that particular set piece might also be a very good set piece taker. Mind you, Diego Forlan prior to the World Cup, look at the exploit for Atletico Madrid in the Spanish colorful La Liga. He was just on top of that skill, and then that free kick, you can't blame him that much. We had the opportunity to restore parity. We had the opportunity to have won the game, but then again, the unthinkable happened, and these are things you can't just
really
bring. You can't just control.
So
those
now let's go to we've talked about 2010. Let's come to 2014. Which goalkeepers did Ghana take to the World Cup, and how was their performance? After that, guys, we will come and talk about the clean sheet, because people really focus on clean sheet when it comes to goalkeeping. Sometimes it's not all about clean sheet to do, but we will talk about it. So let's go to 2014. Which goalkeepers represented Ghana, and did we also have a locally based goalkeeper joining the team?
So we had Adam Larson Kwarase.
Mm.
Then for stronger sets in the Norwegian League,
Okay.
he made the squad. And surprisingly, there was Fatah Udada in that squad. And Fatah Udada was the goalkeeper. We had a lot of controversies about him being in the post. And then these are some of the things. I'm not here to rehash those issues. But these are the
Yeah.
goalkeepers we sent. And then, fortunately, unfortunately, Fatah Udada was our number one at the World Cup.
And not to cut you off, Fatah Dada currently he is the Black Star goalkeepers trainer or goalkeepers coach. Continue
Exactly.
for me.
So these are the goalkeepers we sent to the World Cup. And prior to the World Cup, we saw the performance of Adam Larson Kwarase earlier before. We were talking about the game he played against Brazil in that friendly game. Most people think the game is part of our World Cup that we played in 2014, but it's not like that. We saw his heroic the save against Pato, a free kick against Ronaldinho, and then even in the game in general, after the game, you saw the handshake from Ronaldinho to Adam Larson Kwarase. It clearly tells you the kind of performance the guy put up in that particular friendly game. Prior to the World Cup, we saw Fatah Udada's performance at the World Cup. And there's one highlight of that World Cup. Look at the games we played. And the game against Portugal has always been the highlight for the Ghanaians. We are always talking about how he saved a shot from Ronaldo.
And he was just celebrating. Fatah Dada, if you're watching us, shout out going out to you. You can understand that time, Charlie. Locally based goalkeeper, and he's gotten a
And
start.
Ronaldo was on top level that time because he was at his peak because he joined Real Madrid I think 2009 and from then we saw the performance he put. Though Portugal wasn't the Portugal we used to have right now, but saving that crucial play from Ronaldo in that particular game, I think that we also saw the heroes of Fatah Udada.
Personally, I feel 2014, Charlie, be that game against Germany.
That was where I had wanted to
be.
You see, we lost the whole tournament due to the monetary issues and those scandals that happened in Brazil. But nothing can beat the game against Germany.
Fantastic.
We considered 2 goals, but look at the saves he did. Look at the play from the team in general. I think the game was voted the best game at the tournament, and we also we bow out of the tournament. If not for the monetary issues and the other things, I think we'll all be praising the national team for the performance they put up against Germany. And look at from Germany from there. They didn't lose any game.
They didn't lose any game in the tournament. They went straight to it.
If you could remember how they whitewashed Brazil even at their own
in front of their supporters.
Exactly.
And I can just remember this guy, Thiago Silva, crying like a baby,
And they missed their superstar, that is Neymar, in that game. It was just off. So it clearly tells you the kind of team that we have. There were a lot of allegations
going
in the
on
camp,
yeah.
as to why Fatah Udada from nowhere was selected to be the goalkeeper for the Black Stars
in our second game of
the World Cup. And then there were a lot of machinations prior to the game. We had news coming from the camp that there were smoke from other people's boots. Charlie,
that matter we go talk later. Yeah, later we will come and digest the 20.
Exactly. So these are
a lot happened. So I don't want our viewers to actually.
These are rumors that
they should just wait.
We cannot clarify. There are things that there are speculations. But all in all, I think that we had 2 great goalkeepers at the World Cup. 2 great goalkeepers for the coaches to select, because Fatah Udada, he showed his exploits even in the Ghana Premier League. Then he was just top notch. And for stronger sets, Adam Larson Kwarase, it was also the.
For me, I feel Kwarase has been that guy after Richard Kingston. Personally, I feel Kwarase should have been our number 1 right after Richard Kingston. But Charlie, it is what it is. Let's move on to 2022, right? Because 2018 Yankobi. So let's talk about 2022 World Cup in Qatar. Which goalkeeper was our number 1? And did we also have locally based goalkeeper or goalkeepers joining the team?
2022 World Cup, we had Lawrence Atizigi, we had Manaf, and then we had Danlad Ibrahim being the squad. These 3 goalkeepers joined the squad to the World Cup. I think Lawrence Atizigi was our number 1 in the World Cup squad, and then Danlad was the backup goalkeeper at the World Cup. We saw the games that we played. We saw the performance of Lawrence Atizigi. To some extent, his performance was just questionable, and it was a general performance from the whole team. But you can't take anything away from him as a goalkeeper. Because again, if you look at the performance of goalkeepers, even in losing sight, even or losing ends, you clearly see that there are certain goalkeepers the team might be losing, but it will be difficult for you to blame the goalkeeper
Goalkeeper,
at
the
an
goals that you concede.
exactly.
I think he did amazing against Portugal. Against
Exactly,
Ronaldo. He put
exactly.
some fantastic saves, but Charlie, I'm fat.
So the performance, you see, during even 2022, Ronaldo wasn't the Ronaldo we used to know. But generally, his performance wasn't more convincing. And that has been the problem for Ghana. And that is why we are still in search for a goalkeeper prior to the World Cup that we'll be having this particular summer.
Sure.
So it tells you that if Manav had convinced us, if Atizigi had convinced us in that particular World Cup, if he has convinced us to the AFCON that we have had the opportunity to play, we wouldn't be here seeking and looking for another goalkeeper going to the World Cup. I think that it is still open for all the goalkeepers who are available for the Black Stars. That the post is still open. That is still open for anybody to be selected into the Black Stars squad. For me, I think personally, if we are preparing ourselves to the 2026 World Cup, these are the goalkeepers that we need to still take a critical look at their performance.
Okay.
I was talking about Lawrence Statistics just about now.
Okay.
But he has played for about 25 games or more for the Black Stars. Now, if you are going to a World Cup, experience is one of the most important things that you need.
All right.
Experience will definitely count for the most of the countries that will be going to the World Cup. Germany will be coming to the World Cup, but you can't take an away Manon or impose for the Germany national team.
Okay.
But I think that there are other goalkeepers who are around that they could bring them into the fray. But you can't take away Manon from the team. So
Because of his experience.
exactly.
With the team, yeah.
And I think Ziggy has stated what we call the World Cup. He has been at the World Cup before, and he has capped 25 times for the Black Stars.
So personally, you think Atizigi for the next World Cup there, because of experience, he should be there.
He should be part of the
team.
squad.
Okay, all right. So we will come and talk about that. Now, let's check this out quickly. Let me pull this off for our viewers because they also need to know some few records. You know, when it comes to goalkeeping, you know, one thing that people don't joke about is clean sheets. How many clean sheets? How many goals did they concede? You know, I think we have to add that little thing to it. So let's take it from here. Ghana Black Stars, 2006. Our number one goalkeeper was basically that is we are talking about 2006. That
Richard,
is Olele Kingston.
Yeah, Richard Kingston.
So Olele Kingston kept in 4 matches because we got eliminated from the round of 16. He considered 2 goals against Italy. Ghana won 2-0 against Czech, so clean sheet for him. 1 clean sheet in there. Then against USA, our third group game, we won 2-1, and meaning he conceded 1 goal. Then against Brazil, we lost 3-0. So basically, he kept a clean sheet and also conceded 6 goals in the 3 and 4 matches that we played.
If you are looking at the performance he put up, these were teams that were on top of the world.
Okay.
2006. We lost 2-0 against
Italy. Fantastic team.
They went on and won the World Cup in Germany. We saw the performances. Look at that team. Look at the performance. Exactly. The likes of Tony and Totti. These are players at that particular time. They were on top of the world. So we lost the game and nobody even complained.
Yeah.
We played against R9 in his prime during that time.
And even before Brazil, look at Czech Republic at that time.
And they also had Peter
Cech.
Formerly of Chelsea in post. And even in that game, look at the performance of the whole team and then even our goalkeeper. So I think the 2006 World Cup, we did amazing, very well.
We did well.
Yes.
2010, yes. We have 4 matches as well. No, 2010, we had 5 matches.
5 matches.
Because we passed through the group stage where Ghana, we won 1 against Serbia in 2010. We also drew 1-1 with Austria. Then we lost 1-0 to Germany. Then Ghana defeated USA. That is 2-1. Charlie Asamoah with the Kaiwa. Then we went to the quarterfinal stage where we drew 1-1 with Uruguay. So in the tournament, still Lily was the number 1 goalkeeper.
Yes.
He kept a clean sheet. That was against talking about Serbia.
Exactly.
Then he conceded 1 against Austria. He conceded 1 against Germany. So 2 goals there. He conceded 1 against USA. 3 goals considered against Uruguay. So 4 goals considered in 5 matches.
There's one thing about Olele Kingston that we don't really talk about. He's one of the goalkeepers we sent to the World Cup in those 4 World Cups. And then the teams he lost were teams that were superior than us. He lost to Italy. He lost to Brazil. He lost to Germany. He even in the Euroguard game, it's a draw game.
Yeah.
So the performance of our goalkeeper, Richard Kessin, in those two World Cup clearly tells you that he also played an instrumental role for us qualifying in those games, performing in those two World Cups in 2006 and 2010.
Okay. Now let's go to 2014. We had two goalkeepers. Korase kept in the first game against USA. We lost 2-1.
2-1.
Against Germany, we had Fatau Dauda. We ended up drawing 2-2.
2-2.
Then Portugal 2-1 with Fatau Dauda. So we did not even keep a clean sheet in there.
2014 World Cup.
Korase considered one.
It is that World Cup.
Fatau considered four in 2 games. Okay.
A lot of machination went on, and these are things that went on that it is even beyond our players on the field. So I basically don't want to falter any of our players because these are issues that have to carry money into the aircraft and those things. So 2014 World Cup there.
So left for you alone, we should delete that from our World Cup.
Exactly. If I have my way out, we'll delete the 2014 from our archives.
Okay. All right. So 2022, we had Atizigi keeping in all the 3 matches because we got exited from the group stage. Uruguay defeated us. Oh, why am I starting from here? Portugal first. We lost 3-2.
3-2.
So we considered 3 goals from there. South Korea, we won 3-2. We considered 2 goals. So
making 5.
Then Uruguay, Ghana, we lost 2-0. So 7 goals in 3 matches. Wow, Atizigi.
One of our most shambolic performance at the World Cup 2022.
In terms of Charlie goals.
Yes, the goals.
Chop goals.
Yes,
Wow.
chop goals. And then
Otoado, my coach. So let's come to 2026 World Cup. This is where it gets interesting, you know. Which 3 goalkeepers do you think Otoado should settle on? I don't want it to be that much lengthy, so let's just go straight to the point. Which 3 goalkeepers? Aside that, which other goalkeepers do you think we can consider going to the 2026 FIFA World Cup in USA, Mexico, and Canada?
Looking at the preparation for our World Cup 2026, I've always said this, and I've always been saying this, and I will always keep on saying this. If you are going to a World Cup, you need players with exposure, players with experience, players who has been there before. They know the euphoria. Whenever we're talking about the biggest football festival, we need players who have those exposure. So I'll always going for Lawrence Atizigi to be part of the squad. He needs to be part of that team. He needs to be part of that particular squad that will present for the World Cup because of his exploits in 2022 World Cup. We saw the kind of performance he put up, but you can't take anything away from him that he has gathered experience at the World Cup. So Lawrence Atizigi should be part. Now we have seen another goalkeeper from the local scene on the rise. So in our 4 editions at the World Cup, we have always had a local based goalkeeper playing at the World Cup. So now we have a local based goalkeeper who is also making that headwaves. And you see, there's this saying that live it than ever. He has lived his life at that late time of his career, because for players reaching your 30s, it means that you are almost above your peak. But he is now in his prime. That is Benjamin Asare. We have seen the kind of performances he put up for that is Great Olympics in the last 2 seasons, Ghana Premier League. Last season we saw his exploit with Hearts of Oak. This season we have seen even the competition from Solomon Agbesi, even in that team, he's still there. Whenever he has the nod to play for Hearts of Oak, he has been there. For the Black Stars of Ghana, you can't take anything away from him. Look at the kind of games he has been playing for the Black Stars. In his first game, in the second game, at a point, they were saying that he's just a clean sheet goalkeeper. For Hearts of Oak, he was not conceding. At the Black Stars level, he was not conceding. How he has been able to command and marshal at the back with the other defenders, it tells you that he has the leadership quality. He has a skill. He has the heart of a lion, and he's that player who is ready to get everything going for him. So for me, I think that Benjamin Asare is one player who is fighting for the top for the top spots at that goalkeeping spot. So he's not even making a squad. He's already in a squad, and he's making headways to be our number one for the World Cup. Now there's this young guy coming up,
Okay.
Joseph Teta
Teta
Annan,
Annan, yeah.
and he's my namesake. And if you look at,
So you want to be biased?
oh no, I've not been
Okay.
biased with
Okay,
other
let's
players.
go.
If you look at his age, 25,
All right.
and the kind of games he's playing for St. Patrick in Europe, it tells you that he's one for the future. Earlier on, I was telling somebody that if you are going to a World Cup, and I'm talking about experience, I'm talking about exposure, I'm talking about somebody who has been there before. I'm also talking about somebody who has been with the Black Stars, somebody who is making it in the local scene. Then again, we need to prep ourselves for the future.
Okay.
Because these are goalkeepers who in the next 2 years might not be at the top level, because Lawrence Atizigi is about around 29, 30 years, hitting his peak. Already, Benjamin Asari is already in his 30. So if you have a good
But the point they make, they say goalkeepers, actually, the more they grow, no, the more experience what they actually gain or they gather. So for you to say those keepers are, well, I understand per their age, but
yes,
goalkeepers,
so I am making
you might not
this
know.
case that
You might not know.
I am
Maybe
making this-
Asari might keep in the next 5 years.
next 5 years, then Annan will be in his 30. He will also be in his prime. To be the safest pair of hands for us. So I'm saying that we are looking into the future.
Okay.
We have already looked at currently. We have looked at experience.
Okay.
So we are prepping ourselves for the future.
For the future.
If
So
you are,
another young goalkeeper who will
exactly,
come
who is going to learn from the best?
go get the World Cup experience.
Exactly.
Take it
Exactly.
over.
Because if he's learning from Lawrence Atizigi, who has had a World Cup experience before, it is top notch for him. If he's learning from Benjamin Asari, who has had the World Cup playing qualifications experience, it is top notch for him. And then for him as a young goalkeeper, it's going to prep him that for the future, he's going to be there. He's going to learn from these guys, and it's just going to help us. So for me personally, if I'm Coach Ochoado, if I'm part of the technical team who is going to make those 18-man squad, I'll go in for these 3 goalkeepers in no order for me personally. In no order, Benjamin Asari, Lawrence Atizigi, and then Joseph Teta Annan. These are goalkeepers I'll go in for.
Amazing.
So for the 2 backup goalkeepers,
you can give about 3, 4 crap. Which keepers do you think? You just mentioned their name.
I just want 2.
Okay.
Yes, I just want 2 backups. I was still going for Jojo Walcott and Manaf Nuruddin because of his penalty heroics that he has exhibited for us.
Manaf, okay.
Yes, the carrying cap. So he exhibited that he's one for the future when you talk about penalty shootout and those things. So these are goalkeepers. These are the 5 goalkeepers. But if I'm cutting off for 3, I'll go in for Benjamin Asari, Lawrence Atizigi, and Joseph Teta Annan. These are the goalkeepers. I would want to see them partaking part of our World Cup come this summer.
Amazing. Later on, we'll come and talk about goalkeepers that can also enter into the squad. We'll just come and talk about 2026 goalkeepers and Casa in a different episode, because Charlie, this World Cup, the goalkeeping aspect, as I said in the intro, Ghana for here, we need that boy, because if you're a team and you don't have good goalkeepers, it's going to be a problem. Asari is your pick, Atizigi and Joseph Teta Annan. Now let's end it here. Going to the World Cup, aside talking about 2006, 2010, 2014, 2022, and 2026, do you think Ghana will have clear opportunity or clear chances to qualify from our group, especially with the performances of our goalkeepers that you just made mention of?
I might be biased and say that it's going to be a cool job for us.
Panama is also good though.
I am saying that I'm being biased.
See, if you're a Ghanaian, you think Ghana is going to take it easy against Panama.
That is why.
Forget it. Ghana, we are playing our first game against Panama. And Panama is also using us as, the underdog in the group. Because currently they rank higher than Ghana.
Exactly. No 2 ways about that. But in any situation, if there is a group for any team to play in, there's one particular team that you know that if you play with all your heart out, this is one team that you can make the headways. For me,
me too. I believe we will defeat Panama.
Exactly.
But I just don't want us to underrate them.
So we don't want us to be solely headed.
Yeah, exactly. First game, let's go for our 3 points. Then we will be like by the time we realize we concede, let's go all out to play it like how we play against England.
Okay,
You see,
so for me, I think that that is one game we can maneuver our way and then we can win.
okay.
Now, there's one thing about this Croatian national team, and people don't just want to be realistic about. Look, we have had a share of our bad experiences with our national team. But if you are going to be organized as a national team, if you are going to get our selections right, if you are going to get our players playing into the system the coaches are going to bring, look, if we have all our players fit, with our defenders fit, if you have the right man in pole on that particular day, with this current crop of players for the Croatian national team, personally, I feel that we can make headways when we talk about this game against Croatia. And with England, it's one game that is going to be it's one game that is going to be difficult for us because we are seeing England coming with a very tactical manager, that is Thomas Tuchel. So for me, the England game is one game that is going to be difficult for us. But with Panama and with Croatia, if we get our right men on the field and with the right person in pole, of which we all know the right person in pole,
Sure.
it's just going to help us because I've always talked about it. As a goalkeeper, you need to be able to be an organizer for your defense. You need to be a commander at the back. You need to have a good communications with your team. If you have these three qualities, you are good to go. And personally, if your reflexes, if you are on top form, and if you are able to die for your country, we will be able to get everything head going for us. I earlier said, saying that if we are going to a World Cup, we need the right men for the job. So personally, I feel that we need a goalkeeper who is going to be a leader at the back, who is going to have that commanding figure, who will be able to communicate with our backline. And we have these qualities virtually in the three goalkeepers I mentioned. It boils down to the coaches and the technical team's decision to start any of these three goalkeepers. For me, I've talked about Joseph Teta Anand, that he's a young goalkeeper. He's for the future.
Okay.
So commander at the back personally will be a problem. Lawrence Atizigi and then that is Benjamin Asari. These are the goalkeepers who have had more things with these guys than Joseph Teta Anand.
Okay.
So for me, between the two, any of them who have the opportunity to be imposed for the Black Stars of Ghana should be able to have that commanding figure, should be able to have that good communications, who should also be able to have that good organization skill, that he will be able to organize our backline for us, that we will be able to master the backline for us, that we are not going to concede more goals, we are not going to concede goals that we can really prevent. There are certain goals that you can't prevent.
Exactly.
Yes, it boils down to the coaches and the technical team's decision to choose any of these goalkeepers to start for the Black Stars of Ghana.
Okay.
That will be able to salvage us from any unwanted defeat in the World Cup. I've said this. For Panama, it's one game. If you are not swollen headed, we can maneuver our way and then we can pick up the 3 maximum points.
Okay.
For Croatia, it might be a ding-dong affair. At least a draw in that game will see us pushing us through in that particular group at the World Cup.
All right, amazing. So, guys, we'll come and talk about the group itself, how I think Ghana we should approach the games, and how Bernardo will also actually recommend to the coaches or the technical team of the Black Stars. So, this is our first episode. I know there might be hitches up there or up and down. Kindly forgive us on that. This is our first episode, so obviously sound quality wise a whole lot might be issues. So please pardon us. We will improve as the time goes on. So yes, this has been it for today's episode on the Black Stars goalkeeping. We looked at 2006, 2010, 2014, 2022 FIFA World Cup performances for our goalkeepers, and going to the 2026, what we should expect. We'll bring you guys more in the subsequent ones. Like the video for me, share, and follow to get more.